All right, we already covered my favorite AFC offseason moves. Let's get into the NFC. Let's do it. If you aren't already, go ahead, follow the TikTok and subscribe here. On TikTok, I pretty much go live every day at around 4 o'clock. Come over, show love, and let's talk some football, whatever you want to talk about. With that being said, let's get into the fun stuff. Let's talk about my favorite NFC offseason moves. Starting off with the NFC East, we'll go to the divisional leaders in the Philadelphia Eagles. They have had a lot of controversy around their names this offseason, whether it's been the Jalen Carter debate, Nick Sirianni, Jalen Hurts, AJ Brown. However, with all of the negative, you have to bring out some positive. And my favorite move from them this offseason has been selecting Mekhi Lemon. I think that was really probably the best draft pick they could have went, especially at that point, the value that they got. Trading up like 2 to 3 spots to get who you will hope is one of the probably the best receiver in this draft. That's what you're hoping for. Even if he isn't the best rookie this year, he has a bunch of upside. And if they find a way to keep AJ Brown, he immediately slides into the slot and solidifies that slot position that we've seen the Eagles trade in and out with multiple receivers such as Quez Watkins, Jahan Dotson, and now you have your solidified slot. This also prepares you for if AJ Brown is traded, you rebuilt that receiving room. It's going to be more a receiver by committee instead of just AJ Brown and Devontae Smitty doing most of the heavy lifting. So that's my favorite move, especially at pick 20, late in the back end of the first round. Really an A+ draft pick, probably the best value pick in the first round. Going to the Dallas Cowboys, who have sneakily had a very good offseason, especially when it comes to rebuilding that defense. I wanted to show some love. I could easily talk about Caleb Downs. I could talk about the first round edge rusher they got when they made that trade with Philly. I could talk about Rashawn Gary. I want to talk about Jalen Thompson. Slept on guy from the Arizona Cardinals. Still a young, talented safety. They got him on a very good deal, a 3-year, $36 million deal. I think he's going to help solidify that back end of that Dallas defense. And I think this is going to be a move that goes under the radar for a lot of people. But when it gets to them being on the field, his impact is definitely going to be noticed. And this is, I'm not going to say by far my favorite move, but this is definitely my favorite move. I love under the radar moves like this. I just think Jalen Thompson, he was over there in Arizona. Obviously, Budda Baker is the biggest name on that Arizona defense. So he was kind of overshadowed by Budda Baker, but they were a really good safety tandem, and it takes two to become a good tandem. And Jalen Thompson definitely did his part in that safety room. I expect him to bring that same level of impact from Arizona to Dallas, especially with Caleb Downs back there also. Washington Commanders, my favorite offseason move, Chig Okonkwo. One thing I love to see with young quarterbacks, whether they're rookies, year 2, year 3, I love seeing teams invest in positions that a lot of people kind of take for granted. For example, a scat back, a receiving back, or a slot receiver, or a tight end. Oftentimes when you think about pass catchers, you immediately think about the guys on the outside, the big names, like for the Commanders, it would be Terry McLaurin, but you need compliments to Terry McLaurin. Also, they went out and got Antonio Williams, who looks like he's going to take the slot. But I really like the Chig Okonkwo addition. Zach Ertz was a fine tight end in his 2 years in Washington. However, Chig Okonkwo adds that level of explosiveness that they've been missing from the tight end position ever since the Jordan Reed and Vernon Davis days. And I think that's going to add a nice complement to what should hopefully be a rebound season for the Washington Commanders this year. So my favorite offseason move from this year was signing Chig Okonkwo. The New York Giants. This is a move that I really like the value on it, because when healthy, he can be a really good corner. He's had his ups and downs ever since getting drafted a couple years ago, but signing Greg Newsome to a 1-year prove-it deal is my favorite move of their offseason. If you can't tell, for a lot of these moves, I'm not going with the big name moves. I'm going with the moves that are kind of going under the radar. I really like this move because Greg Newsome has a bunch of potential. Young guy, very young guy. I believe he's 24, 25 years old, has a lot of football left in him. It's been injuries, and sometimes he's just been in and out of the rotation. But when he's on the field, he has proven that he can play football at the NFL level. So I do like them taking this chance on Greg Newsome. Let's say he balls out, you pretty much, that's essentially a draft pick that you didn't have to make. Still very young. I really like this move. 1-year prove-it deal. Hopefully, if you're a Giants fan, you hope he outplays his contract, and hopefully you found you a boundary corner for the years to come, especially with Deonte Banks not working out as well as you hoped. I feel like Greg Newsome is a nice pickup, a nice 1-year prove-it deal for the Giants. Moving on to the NFC North, my favorite move for the Detroit Lions is Derek Moore. The Detroit Lions are a team that does an exceptional job of drafting, but they attack needs while also going for the potential. Also, Derek Moore is he is a seasoned college player. He's coming out as a senior. Senior year at Michigan, he had 10 sacks. I think if you're the Lions, the best case scenario is he could come in from day one and already be the starter opposite side of Aiden Hutchinson, and you could build that as a potential duo for the years to come. You have him on a rookie contract. Aiden Hutchinson has already been paid. Best case scenario, they work together well as a unit, and you have solidified your edge rushers. That was a huge need for the Lions, getting an edge rusher opposite side of Aiden Hutchinson, and I think they feel that need. And also with him being a senior, he's played more than enough football. I'm pretty sure he's going to be able to come in on day one and contribute right then and there. He's not a raw prospect. You know what you're going to get from him. And I really like that from a Lions team that is still looking to be a contender in the NFC. The Green Bay Packers. I really like the Zaire Franklin move. When you consider the fact that the Packers lost Quay Walker, up-and-coming linebacker who has his problems, but when on the field, plays with a different level of speed and physicality that kind of embodies what that Packers defense looked like last year. Bringing in a Zaire Franklin, even though he might be a bit older, he's a tackling machine. So I think bringing him in kind of as a stopgap to man the middle is a good move, especially for a Packer team similar to the Lions, and really majority of the teams, all of the teams in this division that are looking to make moves as contenders in the NFC. I like this move. It doesn't have to be a move that you stick by for the next 3 years, but as a 1-year rental, a 2-year rental possibly, I really like this move. Zaire Franklin is a smart linebacker. Like I said, tackling machine. He's been in the league for quite some time. He knows how to play winning football, and I really value that, especially on this young Packers team. And that's my favorite move for them this offseason. My favorite move from the Chicago Bears, Kobe Bryant signing. Amazing value. I believe it was a 3-year, $42 million deal. Him and Brian Cook from the Bengals, I get their contracts mixed up. Anywho, really good signing. This Bears team, another young team, up-and-coming team. You sign a guy who literally just won the Super Bowl 3 months ago. You bring in a Super Bowl winner who is also young. You give him kind of the keys to the safety room, him and Thingman. Hopefully you have your safety duo for the next coming years. Kobe Bryant is good in coverage, a great tackler. I expect him to be able to man the middle of the defense. And I believe that the addition of Kobe Bryant is going to help a Bears secondary that already has some pieces, especially in Jalen Johnson, but help solidify it. And I think this is a sneaky move like this that can help them get over the top in what they're looking for. And then the last team in the NFC North, the Minnesota Vikings, drafting Caleb Banks. This Vikings team is a team that just got rid of two of their starting defensive tackles last year, in Javon Hargrave and Jonathan Allen. Obviously, they needed to retool in the interior D-line. They have Redmond, who looked like a stud when he was on the field. I'm pretty sure it's going to be Redmond and Caleb Banks to man the middle starting the season. They're both young. They both look very talented. They should feed off each other. I just believe that this is a very good pick, and it should help solidify the middle of that Vikings interior D-line. Moving on to the NFC South. Starting off with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, a move that I really like, that I really think is going to be underrated until we see it on the field, is Alex Anzalone. This Buccaneers team had a bit of a rough offseason. They lost leaders on both sides of the ball, Mike Evans and Levante David. Obviously, it's going to be impossible to replace both of those guys, especially in the same offseason. But the best thing you could do is put a Band-Aid on their absences. And I believe Alex Anzalone, I'm not going to hype him up like he's the best linebacker in the league. But one thing he is a very good linebacker, smart, instinctual linebacker. He's always in the right places, always around the ball somehow, especially in New Orleans and Detroit. But just a good linebacker. He's a good football player, plays with a lot of energy. I can see him, if you want the truth, in Detroit, I believe he was the heart of the defense. Obviously, Aiden Hutchinson is there, but I believe he was the heart of the defense. He manned the middle. He was the green dot, I'm pretty sure, if it wasn't Brian Branch. Alex Anzalone, I feel like he's going to be a player that Buccaneers fans quickly gravitate to because of his play style and how smart and how good he is. One of the underrated linebackers in the league for sure. Next up, Carolina Panthers, Monroe Freeling. I'm not going to spend too much time on this. Arguably the best tackle in the draft. The Panthers pick him up. Nothing wrong with protecting who you hope is your franchise quarterback. This is a big year 4 for Bryce Young. I believe this is year 4. Year 4. This is a big year 4 for Bryce Young. You give him all the help he needs. You retool that receiver room. The next thing up was solidifying that offensive line. You get him his tackle of the future. And now if Monroe Freeling steps in and he produces the way everyone is expecting him to, the rest is on Bryce Young. So really, I have nothing else to say about this pick. I just think it was probably the best pick available. Next up, the New Orleans Saints. Similar to Alex Anzalone, Caden Ellis is a really good linebacker. That Falcons defense last year, that's another plus for me. They poached him away from the Falcons, a divisional rival. He was one of the best players on that Falcons defense, definitely one of the most impactful. Caden Ellis always found a way around the ball, smart, fast, really similar to Alex Anzalone. I just like the energy he plays with. I'm expecting him to take over the starting linebacker position starting day 1. Similar, like I said, it's pretty much the same thing with Alex Anzalone. He's going to fill in where they just lost the leader on that defense also, Demario Davis. He's going to fill in Demario Davis kind of as a band-aid. Obviously, he's not DeMario Davis, but as far as leadership and on the field talent, Caden Ellis is going to fill in, and Saints fans are going to fall in love with him very, very fast. The Atlanta Falcons, I don't want to butcher his name, but I'm going to try it. Avion Terrell. It's kind of like you just knocked it out the park with this one. You already have his brother as your starting boundary corner. Family ties. One of the better corners coming out of the draft. He might be a bit undersized, but he's a very good football player. Like I said, one of the better corners out of this draft. A good football player. I believe that he might be able to step in day one and become a starter on this Falcons defense. And this secondary already was one that was a bit stingy last year. You add more talent like this to that defense, pairing him up with his brother AJ Terrell, Jesse Bates, Xavier Watts, and you could be talking about a potential top 5 secondary in the league right here in Atlanta. Last but not least, the NFC West. We're going to eat our vegetables first. Arizona Cardinals. This is very obvious because their offseason was it was one for the books for sure. Jeremiah Love, right? Now the fear is that the year Jeremiah Love is going to have this year is going to look very similar to the year Ashton Genty had last year. And to that, I say I can't argue against that. This is just my favorite pickup. I don't think the Cardinals should have drafted him. Look, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter where we want him to go or where we think he should go. It's up to the 32 organizations. And I don't think they can maximize his potential yet, but slowly the Cardinals are building something on offense. They have Trey McBride. They have Marvin Harrison Jr. Michael Wilson showed up throughout the season, especially at the end of the last season. And now you have Jeremiah Love. You pair him up with those running backs. And the Cardinals, if they could figure everything else out within the next 2 years, we could be talking about them and talking about how they built their team kind of unorthodox. But if it works, it works. But this is definitely my favorite pickup from the Cardinals this offseason. Moving on to the Seattle Seahawks, Julian Neal. They drafted him mid-round of the 2026 NFL draft. I believe he was a 4th-round pick. Julian Neal is a very good football player, plays with a level of physicality that kind of embodies the Seahawks defense, especially now with Mike McDonald at the helm. They lost their starting corner in Tariq Woolen. They re-signed Josh Jobe. Cornerback help was needed. And I think this was a very nice pickup, like I said, especially mid-rounds. Julian Neal should be able to fill in. I've already heard some good things about him. He probably could fill in and possibly, if not, become a starting corner from day one. He's probably going to be the first corner off the bench. I just like the Julian Neal addition. One thing about Seattle, they just from last year, based off what we saw last year, they know how to develop their corners. Devin Witherspoon, obviously, he's manning the slot, but Devin Witherspoon had a great year last year. Tariq Woolen, he was in and out of the rotation, but Josh Jobe really had a nice year last year. They just know how to build corners. So Julian Neal to the Seahawks mid-round seems like a dream pick for him. I'm pretty sure he's going to be an impactful player starting from day one. The Los Angeles Rams, like I said, I like the underrated moves. The moves that people aren't really talking about, I want to bring those to light. I could talk about Trent McDuffie. I could talk about Jalen Watson. I could talk about Ty Simpson. The move that I really like from them is them re-signing Cameron Curl as a Washington football team, Redskins, Commanders fan. I remember watching Cam Curl play for my team when we drafted him out of the 7th round from Arkansas. Just a very solid safety. He does everything. He's a jack of all trades, master of none. He does everything well. You want him to, he's an amazing tackler. He plays well in coverage. He does well in run support. He could play zone. He could play man. Cameron Curl, I feel like, is a re-sign that a lot of people aren't paying attention to because of what the Rams did this offseason, but is a move that the Rams realized they had to do. I feel like he's a player that is more impactful than a lot of people give him credit for. The stats might not be eye-popping, but when you watch him on the field, he's always in the right place, right time, always making plays. It might not be turnovers, but he's always making plays of some sort. And I feel like the Rams made the right choice re-signing him to a 3-year, $36 million deal, keeping them in the building and solidifying their secondary room, which we all saw last year with the way they were rotating guys in and out. The last thing you needed was to solidify your corner room and then need to be rotating a bunch of safeties. I think they did the right thing here. And the last move, the 49ers. My favorite move from them, re-signing Trent Williams. And they got a really good deal on Trent Williams. Obviously, he's older now. Let me look up how old Trent Williams is. I want to say he's 37, but I don't want to sound like I don't know what I'm talking about. Yeah, he's 37, soon to be 38 in July. Still one of the top tackles in the league. Obviously not the same Trent Williams of old, but he's still, like I just said, one of the best tackles in the league. You got him on a 2-year, $50 million extension. You solidify that left side of the line, the left tackle spot, the blind spot. Like I said in my last video, the second most important position on the field. You solidify that for the next really 3 years, if you consider this year and the next 2. Yeah, you protect your quarterback in Brock Purdy. You don't create a hole there. With that extension, it gives you time. If you do want to draft a tackle, a left tackle within the next 2 rounds, you draft his replacement. He watched Trent Williams, and then when it's time to either let Trent Williams go, or let's say Trent Williams goes into retirement, you just plug and play there. This is just a good move for a Niners team that is looking to rehab from last season, an embarrassing playoff loss, an injury-riddled season. They're just trying to find their way back, and I think this is a move that really helps, especially in the locker room too. Players really pay attention to stuff like this. Players think about stuff like this. Honestly speaking, they're like, if you're not paying Trent Williams, arguably the best left tackle to ever play football, why would I expect you to pay me? So I think this is just a good move on both sides, especially a team that's dealing with a lot of drama right now with the Ayuk situation. But yeah, this is my favorite move. And yeah, if you watch this video and you made it to this point, I want to say I appreciate you. Comment your favorite move. Like I said earlier, TikTok, subscribe. That's about it. I appreciate you for watching, and that's Lead Official Miko out.